Why, hello there, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Have At It. This is episode 62. My name is Ben Cornett. And as always, you can follow me on X at BennyBoy702, on the Facebook group BenZone, where you can be watching the show live right now. And also, you can watch the show on my YouTube channel live, Ben Cornett 9015. That's where you can find me. Please give me a like, subscribe, and share. That'd be greatly appreciated. And hopefully, I can entertain y'all. So, how is everybody doing, man? It's been a little while since I've been on here. As you know, it's been busy as usual for me. A hectic week, hectic work week, hectic personal week, but I am live here tonight. Got nothing else to do, nothing else better to do than to talk to you lovely people. So yeah, let's get it going, man. This has been quite a week. As you know, we are just less than 2 weeks away from watching a live NFL game again. Yes, I understand it's just the Hall of Fame game, between the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans, or the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sorry, thinking ahead there. Uh, the Bears and Steelers, but so what? So what? I mean, it's the NFL. It's the first time we get to see football, and since the Super Bowl 58 between the Niners and Chiefs, which by the way was a great Super Bowl. Felt like we just watched that yesterday. In fact, um, if you guys have Netflix, I'm sure everybody does. Um, the show Receiver came on. I finished it up earlier in the week, 8 episodes. Personally, I like it. I liked it a lot better than I did Quarterback. I don't know why. I just felt like, you know, you had better personalities, you know, excuse me, more unique personalities on this show. I get it. Patrick Mahomes is fun to watch. Kirk Cousins was good. Mariota was okay, but receivers I thought was better. Had better personalities. George Kittle, Claire Kittle. I mean, that should be like the NFL power couple right there. Um, I know everybody likes a lot of people like Travis Taylor. I get it, but to me, it should be George and Claire. I mean, they've met in college, went to the University of Iowa. Claire played college basketball. That was before Caitlin Clark. So, um, you know, her and George's been together for a long, long time, and man, they're just down to earth cool. I like watching those two, especially interact. During the games and stuff. Claire gives them that little shove right before he takes the field and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Um, you also had Devontae Adams, the Raiders. Fun to watch. Pretty mellow guy as well. Amaron St. Brown, very, very cool. He speaks German. Uh, uh, his dad was a bodybuilder, professional bodybuilder. So, there's a lot of good stuff. Justin Jefferson, man, entertaining. Loves his candy. uh, who else? Am I missing somebody? Debo Samuel. Um, again, just down to earth. Um, it's fun. So it was a very good series, man. I recommend it. If you want to watch it right before the NFL season starts, go ahead. I strongly recommend it. Watch it. Uh, you'll have fun with this one. I personally liked it better than Quarterback. Um, you can only take so much of Brittany Mahomes, but that's just me. So yeah, Receiver, check it out. It is on Netflix right now. And speaking of Netflix, as you know, the NFL is going to have two games on Christmas Day on Netflix. As you know, the Ravens versus Texans and Chiefs versus Steelers. So, uh, you know, the NFL's dipping their toe in the and Netflix water, and we'll see how that plays out. There's some other great stuff on Netflix. The Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders series. Haven't seen that one yet. I heard got some pretty good reviews as well. So yeah, it seems like the NFL definitely, you know, getting into bed with Netflix. They're already in bed with Prime every Thursday nights on Prime Video. Thursday Night Football. Peacock's going to have some Peacock only NFL games. Black Friday. I'm sorry, not Black. That's Prime. Raiders Chiefs. But the Eagles Packers in Brazil. The second night of the season on a Friday night, which is rare. I think there's only been like a couple other NFL games that have ever been played on a Friday night. So this is very unique, to say the least, playing in Brazil. So the NFL is definitely trying to expand their product worldwide. I had already mentioned that, on previous episodes. So yeah, we're getting close, man. We're really getting close. We had the Caleb Williams, we had JJ McCarthy officially signed their contracts this week. So yeah, they're ready to go. Training camp's coming up, and it's go time. And this is the time of season where we're gonna have a lot more episodes. We're gonna do a lot more stuff here on Have At It and other platforms as well. So, yeah. So like I said, the NFL kicking off August 1st. Bears and Steelers Hall of Fame game. Again, you're probably not going to see anybody, of any importance play. And I'm not saying the other players are not important. They are, because, they got to make the roster. So that's what it's pretty much all about. Those second and third stringers who don't want to work at UPS or Staples or Home Depot, come September. Nothing wrong with that. But, they'd rather be, playing in the NFL. They'd rather be even on the practice squad, just to try to make their dreams come true. So, and that's what's cool about it. Really any sport, you're pretty much rooting for anybody to try and make it. It's a great feeling. Anyway, and some other NFL stuff, shows going on. Hard Knocks. The New York Giants off season, which the first time Hard Knocks has done a off season edition of it. It's with the New York Giants, and I don't know. I've watched it. It's okay. I don't know. I like the in season and the training camp versions better. Obviously the big story. I don't know if I want to spoil it for anybody or not, but it's centered around, will they resign Saquon Barkley, or does Barkley go sign somewhere else? And he ended up signing with Philly, as you know. I mean, we all know that anyway. I'm not really spoiling it for anybody, but it just takes you inside, what the GM's doing, how it works, how the draft works. They're showing the, people at the combine, taking part in that, talking deals. Recently, the Giants were talking about getting Brian Burns from Carolina. They made that trade. Ultimately, they got that done. So defensive end from the Carolina Panthers going to the New York Giants, along with Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau. Should be quite a defense. As far as the Giants go, question is going to be the offense. And they picked up John Runyon Jr. They picked on the offensive line along with Devin Singletary to replace Saquon. Those are good additions. Now the quarterback Daniel Jones, that's going to be a question mark as well. Coming back from a knee injury, can he try to revive his career? His question. He just got that big contract last year. So, I think personally, just with the Giants, if Daniel Jones struggles this year, I think that's it. And I think they move on. They draft a quarterback, or they bring in a veteran. Who knows? But as far as the Giants go, this is the year for Daniel Jones to prove that he can still play in the NFL. That's it. He's had plenty of chances, but I just don't know if personally I don't know if he's going to make it. I've never been high on him. I don't think he's horrible. I just don't think he's a guy that can lead your team to long-term success as an NFL quarterback. Just my opinion. I mean, I'll give Brian Dable credit. He did some wonders with Daniel Jones, highlighting his positives and hiding his negatives. But he also had a great running back in Saquon Barkley. Finally, in 2022, stayed healthy. 2023, not so much. Still had a solid year, but losing him is going to be huge. But they did sign Devin Singletary, pretty good running back with the Houston Texans. Can he now, with the big contract, prove that, he can be the running back not only for the Giants, but in the NFL as well? He came from Houston, which had a great year last year. They went to the division round against the Ravens. So they had a playoff win. They had some success. And, I'm excited about Houston this year, with CJ Stroud. Can he take that next step? Now that there's plenty of game film on him, his sophomore year, they call it the sophomore slump. But I think he's going to do just as well, with the division right now. You got questions with the Titans. Jacksonville, I still question, can Trevor Lawrence, kind of like in the Daniel Jones category, except Lawrence did have a playoff win. Well, Daniel Jones did have a playoff, so they're both got playoff wins. But was it really because of those guys, or was it because the pieces around them and the coaching? That's going to be the question, because both guys, Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones, have huge contracts, and they got to live up to those. Especially the money they're making, and taking that next step to try and win a championship for their respective teams. I put Trevor in kind of the same category as Daniel Jones. I think he's a little better than Daniel Jones, a little more success, but I mean, Trevor, I think, had a big drop off last year. A lot of turnovers, just didn't seem to, carry over that momentum from 2022 when the Jaguars, had that big comeback playoff win against the LA Chargers, and then came close to beating the eventual Super Bowl champion that year, Kansas City Chiefs, in Kansas City. So it'll be interesting to see what that team does this year, especially in that division. Also, Indianapolis, the Colts are in that division. They were still close to getting in the playoffs. They lost to Houston on the last week of the regular season. Anthony Richardson's coming back. They did lose Gardner Minshew, went to the Raiders, but with Anthony Richardson, say he's fully healthy. So, just do me a favor, Anthony Richardson. When there's people coming after you, that play doesn't develop in time, it's okay to slide or throw the ball away. So, hopefully he learns from that, and he stays healthy for the full 17 game season, because the Colts do have a lot of talent on that team. He's got one of the best receivers in the game in Michael Pittman Jr. So, this team, there's no reason why they can't compete with the Houston Texans for that AFC South division. Yeah. Christopher Cole, thanks for tuning in, Christopher. How you doing tonight, man? He's watching on YouTube. Hey, Ben. Hey, Christopher, how you doing tonight? Appreciate you coming on and watching. So we are excited. As you know, Christopher Cole's a Bucs fan like myself. That's going to be a lot of fun this year. We love our Buccaneers, and their training camp's coming up. Like I said, we made all the offseason moves that we needed to. Re-signed Baker, re-signed Mike Evans, Levante, Antoine Winfield Jr. Had a great draft. Got our offensive linemen. So we've done some pretty good stuff, in the offseason. Hopefully we build on that momentum. we could be the first team in NFC South history to win 4 straight division titles. I think we have a very good shot at that. Um, so I'm excited for this season. Like I said, um, I know a lot of, or I said this, on other shows, that the Falcons seem to be the team that um, a lot of the media darlings like, but I just question Kirk Cousins. Can he come back from an Achilles injury? Can this team put it together with the new head coach and Raheem Morris? It's going to be interesting to see how this team does. Uh, with the Saints, I just read that Ryan Ramchuk, one of their linemen, is out for the year. So they're already at a disadvantage. How are you going to protect Derek Carr? So they got some holes to fill there. Carolina as well. New coach Dave Canales, who was our Bucs OC. He's going to have his work cut out for him. He's got a young group. He's got a young quarterback, Bryce Young. Does he take that next step? We'll see. As a Bucs fan, you hope he doesn't, but as an NFL fan, you like to root for these guys. You want to see them succeed. And Carolina, they got a lot of holes to fill. They traded away their best defensive player, Brian Burns. They stocked up on some draft picks, for next year in the future. So we'll see how they do. I think they'll win more than they did last year, a little bit, but I still think they're a last place team, and it's going to take some time. The question for Carolina is, can the ownership, David Tepper, can this guy be patient? Can he let this team develop, give it time, give Canales time to, give this team an identity, because you're not going to do it overnight. I know people say, well, Houston did that. They were able to do it. But, again, that's more, the exception than the rule. Sometimes that stuff happens, but you can't bank on that. You have to be, more than likely, takes time to develop teams. Look, listen, you can't go on the fast track. The Bears, I get it. They wanted their own quarterback to build around. That's what they're doing. Bringing in a Keenan Allen, a veteran wide receiver, have DJ Moore on the other side of that. Draft Rome Odunze. Drafting offensive line. So they seem to be doing it right. And that's what you got to do. You got to develop. There's no really quick fixes in the NFL. It takes time. It really does. So you got to be patient. Just let these players develop, let these coaches figure it out, and you're going to take some lumps, and that's all part of it. It's part of that road to success. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how the NFC South division does this year. It'll be very interesting. But going back to receiver again, that show, the Niners, they, unfortunately, they were so close. I thought they would win the Super Bowl. I thought they would beat Mahomes and the Chiefs. They had it, but credit the Chiefs. They, the champions experience. There's a reason why they've won 3 of them in the last 5 years. Could have won 4, but my Buccaneers prevented that. Thank goodness. So the Chiefs, again, they're going to be hard to beat. For the Niners, I mean, listen, I'm not going to say they're the Buffalo Bills of this era, but you got to start to wonder. I mean, how many more opportunities are you going to get? How many more, licks are you going to have at that championship lollipop? It's just one of those things where, getting to one Super Bowl is extremely difficult. I mean, look at the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, you know, Joe Burrow's second year, like they got to the Super Bowl and they've been on the cusp, the last few years. It's just so hard to get back. And, for the Niners, I mean, man, my God, I mean, the team that they have, it's like, come on, this team should be winning every year, should have more Lombardi trophies than they've had. But, for some reason, they just can't cross that finish line. And, I know I'm rambling on about the 49ers, but I just feel like when I watched that show Receiver, I was like, man, you just got to feel for George Kittle and Debo and Christian McCaffrey. I mean, these guys showed up, Fred Warner, these guys played their asses off all year. And they looked like the best team all year, except for, they had a 3-game losing streak. But my goodness, it's been so close, and both times they've ran into the Kansas City Chiefs. So, how many more opportunities does a team like the Niners have? I don't know. Can Brock Purdy develop into that quarterback that could be one of the premier quarterbacks in the NFL? Maybe. But I still think, you put Brock Purdy on other football teams, he might not have the success that he's had with the Niners. So I don't know. We'll see how many more chances this guy gets or this team has. I still think they're a favorite in the NFC. The Packers are on the come up. The Lions, the Bucks. I'll throw my team in because we're going to win our division more than likely. Barring injuries, we should win the division and do some damage in the postseason. So we'll see what happens. Fred Moore, thanks for tuning in. He's watching on YouTube tonight. Good evening, Fred. Cheers. Yes, cheers. Michelob Ultra in the house. That is delicious, by the way. So, Fred, how you doing tonight, man? Let's get that Bucks prediction. Are we gonna go 21-0, 20-0? I hope so. Well, maybe not, but this team, the Bucks, it's definitely a 9-10 win team. And listen, I get it. Last year didn't look so well. We made the playoffs. We won a playoff game, but we had to win the division on the last day. Hopefully this team can improve on that and have this division, wrapped up, early on. I know I'm maybe going a little bit ahead of myself and, maybe, hopefully I'm not jinxing the team with these predictions, but I just feel like the team we have right now and the players we brought back, I feel like this team can and will not only win this division, but hopefully do some damage in the postseason. I mean, we were a quarter away from beating the Lions in Detroit. In that first game against the Lions in the regular season in Tampa. By the way, the Creamsicles, that was the Creamsicle game. The Creamsicle game this year was just announced this week, October 27th against the Atlanta Falcons. So definitely rocking that Creamsicle orange. Bucko Bruce, got to wear that stuff. That looks good. It's real top notch. So cannot wait for that game. So yeah, I'm very positive that this team can be definitely as good, maybe even better than the 2023 team. Again, it always comes down to health. Can the players stay healthy? Can we not, really give away games? Like the game I thought we should have won last year against the Texans. We had just a terrible defensive drive down the stretch. And I believe that was the game. After that game, we kind of started going on a win streak. I remember that I think the next week we were playing the Titans, won that game, and then we went to San Fran, kept it close, but they beat us, and then we started pulling off some, stringing some wins together, and I had that big win in Green Bay. Um, yeah, so this team's definitely, you know, they have the talent, they have the defense, the experience, probably the most experienced team in the division to they have it to repeat as NFC South, champions. Also, the fact that um, this could be the very first time in NFC South teams won 4 division titles. You know, that's never happened before, and we want to be the first team that does that. I think that would be great. Um, you know, Sorry about that. I'm just looking over some stuff right now. So, um, yeah. So, anyway, um, what else you guys want to talk about? I don't know. I'm just locked into the NFL season. It's coming up. Can't be more excited than I am now. I'm sure I will be. But anybody out there in the watching this, tell me your favorite teams. Who you think's going to win it all this year? I know Fred is going to say the Bucks, which that's fine. Nothing wrong with a little positive reinforcement. For me, I'm not going to really make any predictions right now because again, it's too early to do that. We haven't even, we're just starting training camps, so a lot can happen. A lot can happen. I mean, look at the Jets last year, like with Aaron Rodgers came in, going to be the guy to help turn that team around, get to the playoffs, and do something. Well, Monday Night Football happened, and yeah, they weren't the same. The Jets struggled all year, and what that's what happens. Injuries can happen to anybody on any team. We just don't know, so it's just too early to predict what can happen. And speaking of that, Christopher Cole, thanks for being in the comment section once again. Appreciate the question here. What's your biggest worry? And it's pretty simple. It's health. You know, this team's got to stay healthy. We've had a lot of injuries last year in the secondary. You know, especially on defense. There were games where I thought we could have won, but and I'm not trying to blame injuries. They do happen. You got to play next man up, but it's always nice to have a healthy starting lineup pretty much every game. Baker was able to stay healthy. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin stayed healthy all year, but that's the biggest worry is going to be the injuries. Can this team avoid it? We'll see. We were lucky enough to not have too many of those last year, and that helped us out a lot. If I had any other worries, I mean, I would probably say Baker Mayfield. Now you have to prove it here. Okay, you proved it. He definitely did. So can he build on that and even do better this time around? That's because you got to remember before he came here, he was on the Browns. They let him go. Carolina, that was a disaster. The Rams, he, showed some life, and he got a look. The Bucks gave him that opportunity, and he outperformed it. He shined. And not only that, but I think what was really great about Baker Mayfield, I think that kind of doesn't get really talked about as much, was the fact that he was a leader on that team. You think about that. I'll even say this, and maybe I'll get some heat for saying this, but I thought he was kind of a better leader than Tom Brady. Yeah, I said that. Even a better leader than Tom Brady. It was in a way kind of refreshing because that last year with Brady, I mean, it was, yeah, we made the playoffs, but we were 8-9. I thought Brady kind of just was already in retirement mode, and it didn't help with the injuries. And losing Ryan Jensen was catastrophic. You couldn't really recover from that, and that's hard. That's hard. It really is. Um, but I thought Baker showed great leadership skills last year. Really, it's just always been competitive. You know, he's an alpha. And you got to give him credit, man. It was really refreshing to see that. He made everybody better around him. His teammates made him better. So it just went hand in hand, and I felt like this is why they were able to have a successful season, win a playoff game. Um, and I just want to remind everybody, Baker Mayfield, 158.3 quarterback passer rating at Lambeau Field. Nobody else ever did that. So, yeah, just had to rub that in. And we stopped the push. Okay. I don't know if everyone knows this. We were the first team, our defense was the first team to stop the Philly tush push. Yeah. So we accomplished two great things. The 158.3 passer rating in Lambeau Field by Baker Mayfield, and our defense stopping the tush push. So I don't care. I'll brag about that all day. Can't take that away from us. Mr. Cole says, mine is offensive tackle depth. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I'll tell you, Christopher, you make a good point, because this hasn't been the only year we've had lack of depth, but it's been that way a lot of times. And again, the offensive line, it's always the hardest position. It's easy for me to say. I need to take another swig of beer. There, that's better. The offensive line is the hardest thing to learn in the NFL. Because you go from the college game to the NFL game, the speed of the game is much faster in the NFL. Bigger, stronger defensive linemen, defensive ends coming right at you. And your footwork, your blocking, your hands have to be precise. And, you have to learn the playbook. It takes time to develop. And Christopher, you're right. With the lack of depth there, somebody gets hurt, you're screwed. Look at Ryan Jensen. We lost our center 2 years ago. Screwed us over. Brady Jensen the Brady. It was a dynamic duo. That stuff takes time. Now I will say with Graham Barton, our first round draft pick, he can play the center position. In fact, he's been versatile. He can play all 5 lineman positions. Now you team him up with Tristan Wirfs, Cody Mock. This should be a much, much improved offensive line. But again, Graham Barton, as great as he is, that's going to take time. Okay, it's going to take time. Scott Thaler, thanks for tuning in. You're not first. Christopher Cole, Fred Moore, we're ahead of you, but that's okay. We still appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, Christopher, that's fair. Offensive tackle depth is a concern. Offensive line, period, if you don't have that depth, it's very concerning. Receivers, you take one. If you have a great receiver, obviously Justin Jefferson last year, when you watched receiver, when he got injured, took a lot out of the team, but he wasn't the main reason why the team didn't play well. But again, injuries happen, and that's always my biggest fear. People say, well, and there's nothing wrong with that. We don't have this, lack of depth here, lack of depth there, but and they're not wrong. It's just me. My one worry is always going to be health. You know, I don't want to lose any players to injuries. Um, Nobody wants to on their teams. You know, you want to play the best and beat the best, and beat them at their best. You know, so but it is always next man up in the NFL. So if injuries do happen, you gotta hopefully have that depth to replace it. But if you stay healthy, the team has that consistency throughout the year. You're gonna most likely do well. You know, you're gonna have success. I mean, you know, the Green Bay Packers. Listen, they were what started out 2-5. They made it to 9-8, made the playoffs, beat the Cowboys in the divisional round. Came close against the Niners, beating them. You know, they got hot at the right time, you know, but they also got healthy at the right time, which is key. I remember they had some injuries early on in the season. And, you know, Jordan Love was in his first year. So, you know, he needed time. And, you know, once they got clicking, I believe it was after they lost to our Bucks, the Packers started to get it going a little bit. You know, they had some key wins down the stretch. They beat Detroit on Thanksgiving. That was a huge win, by the way. Sorry, Alex Lusmore, I don't mean to bring that up, but you know that was a huge win on the road. You know, they just played well down the stretch, but they got healthy at the right time, which was very important. You know, so if you're going to have injuries, you don't want them, but if that happens, it's better to happen early on, not during the middle or the end of the season. You know, I mean, look at the Saints. Like I said, Ryan Ramczyk, one of their offensive linemen, already out for the year. And that's a big piece on their offensive line. You know, Derek Carr is going to need all the protection he can get. You know, Miami Dolphins defensively, Jalen Phillips, he's, you know, and Bradley Chubb, they're on the PUP right now. I think one of them will be out for the first few games of the season. So, yeah, it's always a worry, man. Injuries are my biggest worry. They always will be. You know, so the team just gotta stay healthy. The trainers gotta do a good job keeping them healthy. Especially the Bucks, you know, playing in that Florida heat, that humidity, keep them hydrated, fresh. You know, so yeah, that's my biggest worry is health. You know, no injuries, please. No injuries. Bucks. Please, no injuries. Oh man. So with that being said, I'm just excited about the NFL season. I don't know what else to talk about. I mean, you know, I'm just starting to, you know, put my attention toward the NFL. That's why I'm trying to watch some other stuff, you know, on Netflix, uh, another streaming service. I want to get all that in before the start of the NFL season because once we hit September to February, I am, you know, tunnel vision football, tunnel vision. And what's great too is we'll have a ton of great stuff to talk about on Have At It, you know, on other platforms as well. You know, wrestling, it's been pretty good lately. WWE, we got SummerSlam coming up. By the way, I'll do another episode of Face the Heels coming up. Hopefully next week we'll do a show, get caught up with all the stuff that's been going on around WWE. We're headed towards SummerSlam, by the way, so in a couple weeks. Looking forward to it. And by the way, speaking of WWE, they'll be on Netflix. I'm sure you already know, but just in case, I'll remind you one more time, WWE will be on Netflix. Raw will be on Netflix January 2025. That's 6 months away, so they're getting close to heading for the streaming service. But around the world, internationally, WWE all their shows, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, will be on Netflix platforms. So yeah, they're really gearing up to make WWE the best product in pro wrestling. AEW had a good rating this week, 790,000 viewers. They bumped that rating up a little bit. And listen, AEW, I want them to succeed as well. We all want every company to succeed. We don't want, that's the one thing I hate about being on X or, Facebook's not so bad, but X is just, ugh, with the wrestling tribalism, oh, we hate WWE, we hate AEW, like, come on, guys. I mean, wrestling's wrestling, okay? We want all companies to do better. I want AEW to do better. They had a great match with, MJF, Will Ospreay. MJF won the international title. Had a great 60-minute match. The rest of the show kind of fell off a little bit, but they still put up a good rating. I want AEW to succeed. Build that momentum toward All In, which is in Wembley Stadium in London last Sunday of August. They just got a lot of talent that they just need to have consistency. Storylines. They got to stay healthy too. Just like any other sport. Wrestlers been injured. You lose those stars. You lose a Britt Baker. She's, by the way, is back. She's gonna have a match with Mercedes Moné at All In. It's good to have Britt Baker back in the lineup. Hangman Adam Page is back. It's coming back as well. So, they got a lot of talent. They just need to have better consistency with storylines each week. Swerve Strickland's your world champion in AEW. You got to put him front and center. He can't be the third or fourth guy in the company. He's your world champion for a reason. Put him up front. Make him look and feel like the best wrestler in the company. I just feel like Swerve just almost like an afterthought, and that's a shame because he's got a big match with Bryan Danielson at All In. He won the Owen Cup, Bryan Danielson, so he gets that opportunity to wrestle Swerve for the world title. I expect it to be a very good match. Bryan Danielson, he's pretty much going into his last year as a wrestler full time. Going to retire soon. Probably best because he's had all the injuries the past several years. It's amazing that he's still doing this. Despite the injuries, especially with the neck injury, it's not fun at all. So yeah, hopefully AEW can get back on track because WWE's red hot right now. The Punk Drew storyline now with Seth Rollins involved. It's great stuff. Liv Dom stuff can't get enough of. With Rhea Ripley, Cody against Solo Sikoa. For SummerSlam, it's going to be great. LA Knight, Logan Paul, the U.S. title. They got a lot of momentum right now, so it's going to be a good SummerSlam. I cannot wait. It'll be August 3rd, Saturday. I'll try and do a Face the Heel show, like a preview of that, so check that out. You can watch that as well on the Ben Zone and on my YouTube channel, Ben9015. So anyway, sounds like we're doing a Face the Heels episode now, but just have at it. Cobra Kai came on yesterday, debuted season 6. First 2 episodes, I got 2 out of the way. I'm gonna try to get 3 of them. The other 3, hopefully by the end of the weekend. It's my show. It's that's my flavor. Like waited a while. Obviously, we're starting to get a lot of shows back on Netflix and other streaming platforms, Prime Video. because obviously the actor strike, you know, that kind of pushed back a lot of projects. But now we're getting some of the shows back. Like Wednesday is going to be out in 2025. Stranger Things is filming right now. The Boys just came out on Prime Video, their new season. So Tulsa King on Paramount Plus, which is a great show, by the way. I cannot wait. That's September 15th. Sylvester Stallone, season 2, Tulsa King, Paramount Plus. If you haven't seen that series yet, I highly recommend it. It's about a former mafia member who served prison time for 20 years, got out. Then he was pretty much kind of forced out of the mafia. He was, pushed aside. They put him in a location, a hideout in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Sylvester Stallone, set up shop there, and he owns that town. And so yeah, check it out. It's on Paramount Plus. If you got Paramount Plus, check out Tulsa King. Highly recommend it. Season 1, season 2 will be out September 15th on Paramount Plus. So you got 2 months. Check it out. So Blackie Lawless, thanks for tuning in tonight, man. Appreciate you coming on. He says, "Let's go Red Sox." Who'd they play tonight, Blackie? And see who they were playing, but baseball is back after their All-Star break. That's another thing. We're getting down to the last couple months of the season. Baseball start going to get hot around September. Cannot wait, for the postseason as well. My Dodgers, we're doing good right now, but again, it's the Dodgers. Can they finally? They won a World Series in 2020, but can they finally win a real World Series? That wasn't in a bubble. That wasn't, a 60-game season. Yeah, I know I said that, but I know it's a legitimate World Series, but still, I'd rather, win it under better circumstances. Let's put it that way. So, Ooh, Marty McKnight's on here. Marty, how you doing tonight, man? From Arkansas. He says, "Would you like some help?" Oh, do you want to come on, Marty? I'll send you a link, man, if you want. Let me give you. I'll give you a sec, man. Hold on one second. I'm gonna put the link in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just gonna send our good friend from Arkansas, Mr. Marty McKnight. And alrighty. Well, if you just tuned in, everybody, I am just sending a link out to Marty, who says he wants to give me some help. And you know what? I don't mind the help at all. So, right, it is in the comments section, Marty. Hopefully you see it there. Hopefully I don't crash the internet like we had today. By the way, did anybody were they affected by that outage from Microsoft this morning? Because flights were canceled or delayed. Certain banks couldn't do any business because of that outage that we had today. At my work, it affected it a little bit. So, yeah, did anybody get affected by that? I just curious. I mean, Blackie says, "Hope the Sox take 2 or 3 from the Dodgers." Oh, that's right. We play my Dodgers tonight. I did not know that. See, I'm kind of out of the loop. I'm thinking about football, Blackie. I'm thinking about our Buccaneers. Thinking about your Northwestern Wildcats, who I think they got a new stadium, by the way. Yeah, I think is it this year that they got their new stadium? But yeah, I was thinking more about that. Oh, by the way, Marty, I sent the link in the comments section, so hopefully you got it. If not, I can try and send it to you on the personal message. Let me do that. All right, guys. I'm gonna send Marty the link via direct message. Like I said, I hope that this does not crash the internet. Just never know, though. H8. 1 second there. I'm gonna. By the way, anything can happen live, so yeah, there we go. So Marty, if you're still watching, I sent the link out to our group chat. Hopefully you can make it on. If not, that's okay. No big deal. But yeah, I'm trying to mention my foot. Foot's itching. That's why we did that. And well, as soon as I got done itching my foot, maybe that's the way to get Marty on the show. Here he is. Look who's here. Look at that. Look at that profile pic. Love it, man. What? That's a Buccaneer.
Davy Jones.
Oh, there you go. All right, Marty, how you doing tonight, man?
I am hanging in. How about you? You doing all right?
Yeah. It's been a interesting week, man. We are back on Have At It. It's been a little while, but as you know, it is my favorite time of the year coming up. I'm sure it's yours as well.
Oh yeah,
So,
training camp's starting to open up. A lot of teams already. I think what is like 7 to 9 teams already in training camp right now.
Yeah. Yep. And the Bucks, I think, it's this weekend, right?
The 22nd, I believe. So in
That's
3 days.
Monday. There you go.
Yep,
Oh,
I think Wednesday is going to be. See, Monday is going to be the rookies, and then Wednesday is going to be the veterans. So we're right around the corner.
I know, man, and hopefully we could build on that momentum from last year. We were a quarter away from going to the NFC title game against San Francisco. But how excited are you this year, Marty? Does this team look like they're going to improve, get better? What do you think, man? Is this a team that can compete in the
Right
NFC?
now, it's a wait and see with the new offensive coordinator. I think it's going to be like last year. I think we're going to hit our stride about week 6, week 7.
Okay.
The problem of it is, I mean, we got a tough schedule. That first, I would say, until about December and late November, we got some rough games coming up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, when you're the first place, when you finish first, you're going to get the first place schedule. So,
and it baffles me because the NFL Network and Insiders and Sports Illustrated, or not Sports Illustrated, ESPN, saying that we have one of the lowest strength of schedule. I don't see how, because we got the Niners, we got the Ravens, we got the 49ers, the Lions, the Chiefs. I just don't see how we have one of the weakest schedules when we're playing at least 7 playoff teams.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the start, we got Washington. I mean, obviously they're going to have a rookie quarterback start, but if you know Bucks team history, we don't always do great against rookie quarterbacks. But
Kyle Orton, remember that when we played week 1 about 8-9 years ago?
Yeah, we lost to numerous no names that I don't even remember, but we still lost to them. But no, after that, we got Detroit week 2. That's a tough game in Detroit. Week 4, we got Philly at home. That's tough. That's not going to be easy.
No, but because Philadelphia really has rebuilt their defense, and I mean, they went crazy on the off season. They spent a lot of money, so they got to be better than what we played them in the playoffs.
Well, and plus we got that no good for nothing Devin White coming back to town week 4. So
You think he's going
hopefully,
to get? You think he's going to get cheers or boos when he comes out in the field?
yeah, that's possible. I mean, and I'm looking at the schedule too. I mean, Baltimore Monday night, that's a big game.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be tough at home, luckily. But then 2 weeks later, we're back on Monday Night Football. We're at Kansas City, tough. Then we got to play the Niners at home, tough. But then we got our bye week. But looking at the home stretch, you're at the Giants, you're at Carolina, you play the Raiders, you're at the Chargers, you're at the Cowboys versus Carolina and New Orleans. We got 2 home games against Carolina and New Orleans to close out the season. So the back end of the schedule at least looks promising. If we can get through the first half of that schedule before the bye week, let's say, for example, we go 6-4. Let's say 6-4. And then this final schedule, there's no reason why we can't go like, 5-2.
And then
Really
Cowboys, we have never been that good playing in Dallas. That's going to be a
no,
tough game. And then the
but we
Chargers,
beat them
I
last.
think we play the Chargers, and they're not going to be no slouch this year either.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, Jim Harbaugh's back, but it's his first year there. He's gonna have some growing pains a little bit.
I hope so, because I mean they want to say we have one of the weakest schedules, and when you look at it, it's like where? I mean, because we played the Panthers and maybe the Saints, and I think the Saints are going to be better.
You think
You got
so?
one more. You got You got Derek Carr one more year under the system. I don't think they're not going to be a playoff team, but I mean they play us tough every year.
Not true.
And
True,
then the
but I don't think.
Falcons that are going to be. I think the Falcons are probably going to end up winning the division.
Really? You think
I
so?
mean, how many games they win last year with bad quarterback? Didn't they win like 7 games, 8 games?
Yeah, they won 8 games, but I, I don't know how Kirk's going to do after that injury. That's an Achilles. Can he come back from that? That's the question. Like, he's got talent around him. I'm not saying that. I don't know. I mean, I will say they're the only team I think could compete with us in the division because I think they have a better team than the other 2 teams in New
Oh
Orleans
yeah,
and Carolina. But they
and
got to
I
put it together. Yeah.
and I do think our offensive line is stronger and faster. And
Yeah.
I do like the wide receiver we drafted in the 3rd round. I think he's going to, if he gets in the rotation as a slot receiver, but
Oh,
Godwin's
McClendon.
going to be the slot. But
McClendon, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Washington. Yeah. I like him
if
too.
he's healthy. Now the last year in college he was banged up a lot and still put up decent numbers. The year before he
Yeah.
put up great numbers. Where if he would have went into the draft that year, he would have been a 1st round draft pick.
Right. That's right. And he played with Roma Duze, and Michael
Hmm.
Penix Jr. So you know, they got some talent, dude. I'm glad we picked him up. We got him. I think that's a steal, if you ask me. As long as he stays healthy, like
And
you
I
said.
think the running back we got from Oregon, I think that's
Oh,
going to
Bucky
be.
Irving.
And then getting Jordan Whitehead. You got
Yeah,
Winfield and Jordan Whitehead, your back ends. That's going to be a deadly safety combination right there.
yeah. McCollum's gonna supposedly start, so I see what he can do. Real quick, I'm gonna read a comment here for Christopher Cole. Unless Stu spends at least 125 million in payroll, it's going to be a complete disaster. He's talking about the Tampa Bay Rays. They got that new stadium approved. I think it was the votes were 5-3 from the city of St. Petersburg. So, congratulations on that, by the way, for the Tampa Bay Rays. Blackie Lawless already a comment. He says Northwestern is building a temporary stadium on campus while they build the new permanent stadium. The temp is going to be Lakeside. Yeah, cool. Good stuff there, Blackie. Speaking of college football, are you ready for college football, Marty?
Sort of. Arkansas is probably going to be mediocre at best, and I really don't know much about Notre Dame. I guess they're going to be about the same, 7 to 9 wins. That's going to be about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, Florida State's going to beat them in November, but other than that, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
yeah. So I'm a Florida State fan, by the way, if you didn't know.
Oh, yeah. I know. Me and you've went
All
back
right.
and forth
Very
many
good,
times.
very good, very good. Yes. Yeah. So what else? What else do you expect from the Bucks this year? What are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward if Diablo and Yaya, Cansey and Diablo, if they can actually take a step forward and start being star defensive linemen, because we got to put pressure on the quarterback, or we're going to have a long season.
Well, listen, I got to tell you, I really like Diaby, dude.
I do too.
So much upside, man. I think he's only going to get better. You know, Kalijah, dude, when he got healthy, when he started to get it a little bit, he's making plays. You know, if he can stay healthy, my goodness, I mean, it'll be another A+ draft from Jason Light. You know, he's done a great job these last few years. So those guys, I'm very excited for. You know, Braswell from Alabama, the rookie.
Is he going to play nickel, or is he playing safety?
Braswell,
Yeah.
isn't he a defensive end now, dude?
He was a safety, but when they drafted him, they was talking about him playing nickel corner, and I'm okay with
Oh,
that if they have him
I
on
need to
nickel.
somebody else. Yeah, hold on a sec. Yeah, I think you're right, man. I was thinking of somebody else there. Yeah, no, linebacker, dude. He's a linebacker.
He is.
Yeah, I think you're talking about somebody else from.
He was like a third round pick from Georgia.
Yeah, that guy. I forget his name. Let me. Um,
That was safety and first played nickel corner, but
right,
he was a ball hawk in Georgia. I'm
right. Yeah,
excited to see him.
I just can't think of the name right now. Let me get that. Pull it up there, Marty. So I'm trying to be, multitasking, and you're on
Yeah,
Tab
that's
App.
fine.
Yeah, let me. God damn it. Let me get on there. By the way, anything can happen live on this show, so
Expect the unexpected.
expect the unexpected. Um, go over that draft board. All right, here we go. All right, so as you know, Graham Barton was our first round pick. Love it. Braswell was our second round pick from Alabama. And the name we're talking about is Tyreek Smith from Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Tyke Smith. I'm sorry. Tyke. Should say that right. McMillan from Washington, wide receiver. Also Bucky Irving, fourth rounder as well. Running back. We also got Elijah Kane. He's a guard from UTEP. Devin Cup, the tight end from Washington, drafted in the 7th round. So you got 2 Washington draft picks. Ooh,
Yeah, dogs barking in the background.
that's okay. We appreciate them on
And there's
the.
one right beside me. They're all going berserk over some kind of truck that drove by.
Maybe I just saw the ghost of Johnny or something.
Right. I mean, I think our major question marks is defensive line and corner. I mean, we traded Carlton Davis, so is there going to be, or do we have that corner? Because Jamel Dean is last year he could stay healthy, and I feel like if Jamel Dean has the same year where he's kind of down, I think Tampa's going to walk away from Jamel Dean after this season if he doesn't step up.
I agree with that, and I think Light knows that, because again he traded Carlton Davis. I think he knew that his days were numbered. He's going to cost him money anyway. So, Christopher Cole, look at this.
And it doesn't help when you have hands like a damn brick. Like he had that interception in that playoff game against Detroit in the end zone and dropped it.
Oh, don't remind me, Mark. Did you see Receiver on Netflix?
I don't have Netflix. Only thing I've watched is the Hard Knocks Giants on Max.
Disappointing. so far. I'm not a big fan of the offseason Hard Knocks.
Who are
I
they
don't know.
going to have to start the season?
Well, it's supposed to be Daniel Jones coming back, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, run Marty, run.
Okay, I'm back now. Who are they going to have? Hard Knocks. Who are they going to have to start the
The
preseason?
Bears, Chicago
Bears.
Train. Yeah,
I
it
can't
makes
take the Bears seriously with their quarterback painting his nails, and I just can't take a quarterback seriously when he's like that.
well. He's got all the talent, but again, from the head up, or the neck up, I should say. That's the question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Played well at USC, but I think they depended a little too much on him and put a lot of pressure on him. Hopefully, the Bears built around him pretty good. Let's see if he can, live up to his part. One of your dogs said he disagrees. He don't think Caleb's gonna, live up to expectations. So,
God, I mean, he's got all the talent around him, but I just can't take him seriously. And he wasn't that flashy last year for USC. I mean, he kind of had a down year a little bit.
I agree. He made a lot of poor decisions.
Almost like a Jameis Winston.
You had to go there, right?
Yeah, I had to go there.
By the way, he's with the Cleveland Browns for anybody that still cares. He's the backup to one Deshaun Watson, who, I mean, I guess that's a perfect pairing. I don't know,
Cosby.
Make a lot of memes and one-liners with that one. We all know the Cleveland streamer. The Cleveland streamer.
Yeah. So you was talking baseball. How is your Dodgers looking?
First place. But I'll give the Astros credit, man. They hate it. They've moved up a little bit. They're right on the heels of the Mariners, but we'll see. I mean, you have to bang a lot more trash cans if you're gonna try to catch up with the Mariners in that division.
A little more trash cans, a little more buzzers on their chest. I think they're going to have to spend a little bit more on the trade deadline. I mean, they need a reliever, they need one more starter, and an extra bat would be nice, but they definitely need some help in the bullpen.
Well, the Tampa Bay Rays might be doing a fire sale. They got some bats, maybe you guys look in there. Who knows? We'll see. We're only a couple months away from the postseason. The trade deadline's in August. Yeah, it's a fun time, Marty. And the fall, it's my favorite time of year. We got the football, we got the baseball playoffs coming up.
And if there's anybody that's NASCAR fans, this Sunday's return of the Brickyard, so that's nice to see that returning.
There you go. Who's leading the in the points right now? Who's
I believe Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott in the regular season points.
Okay, all right. Well, that's going to be interesting because in October they're back here in Vegas for the 400, so that's closing out the year.
You should go. You should go see that. If you've never been to a NASCAR race, you need to go.
I've been to a couple of them. Yeah, no, they're a lot of fun, man. They are a lot of fun. I usually watch it when it gets toward the end of the year. That's when we start to see the drivers separate from each other in the standings. You got the top, few that'll qualify.
Oh yeah, like the playoff standings. Yeah.
Playoff standings, yeah. That's when it starts to get really interesting. So. I don't know if anybody's golf fans, but Tiger Woods missed another cut. Won't be playing in the Open this year. I think he's got to start hanging it up, man.
I was just about to say. I think the last 4 years, he has not been the same. I think it's about time for him to go ahead and retire.
Yeah, and focus on his son, Charlie. He's become quite the golf prodigy. So, spend time with him, get him ready for, professional golf, college golf, if he wants to pursue that. It's gonna be unique. I can't wait to see his son, play at a higher level. So
You know,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
funny. About
yeah.
10 years ago, about 10 to 12 years ago, the two main golfers in the world was Greg McElroy and Tiger Woods, and they have both basically fell off the side of the earth pretty much.
And Phil Mickelson too. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
tired. Yeah, yeah. They did a like a playoff on Netflix or something. I think it was Tiger and Phil for like $1 million or something like that a couple years ago. So yeah, man. I don't know. Anything else interesting you want to discuss or?
well, I want to bring up one more about the Buccaneers training camp.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about the diva? Well, I wouldn't call him a diva, but the distraction of, was it Randy Gregory, that's done cut off
Oh
all
yeah,
communication with the team.
yeah. I mean, I think he's got some kind of lawsuit going on, right? Like with the NFL or something like that, doesn't he? Like have some kind of lawsuit going on.
Yeah, he does, and they brought him in for depth for defensive end because he can still get it done when he's on the field. I mean, he's
Right.
having issues with injuries, but it just seemed like the last 3 seasons it's been a lot about diva, diva, diva. And I think Tampa may have to go ahead and just cut ties before even training camp.
That's a very good possibility. And listen, I don't blame them for trying to bring him in. Give it a shot. You know, it's low risk, high reward, and the Bucks usually do a good job of getting rid of distraction before they start building up. So I expect them to, excuse me, more than likely just let him go.
And no
Unfortunately,
disrespect to Shaq Barrett, that's kind of how they brought Shaq Barrett in. Like a no low risk, high reward, low contract, prove it. And I feel like that's what they was trying to do with Gregory, but he is not going to be a Shaq Barrett. He's got some mental issues going on, and it's not going to work.
yeah, it's unfortunate. And the difference was Shaq just played behind Bradley Chubb. What are you gonna do? You know,
Yeah,
you're gonna play behind a
yeah.
good player. You know, so he wanted to pursue his own, go on his own path, and look what happened. He became one of our better players the last few years. Now, because of the money he was going to be owed this year, the Bucks just couldn't afford it. So you had to cut costs somewhere, and
I'm
and
glad he
Shaq
ended up
was
with Miami. I think him being in Miami with Chubb and that defensive line, I think he's going to be okay with Miami if he's healthy.
well, and that's the thing. They're already like having some health issues with Chubb and Jalen Phillips. Yeah, Jalen Phillips. They're on the PUP list. So it looks like Shaq may be starting to he may have to be one of their best players on defense. No choice. So, again, we'll miss him, but it seemed like last year though Shaq just didn't play up to his potential. I know he had off the field issues. He lost his daughter, unfortunately. That can always play on your mind. It's just disappointing the season he had, but hopefully he bounces back in Miami. He's got an opportunity, so we'll
Yeah,
see what
it's
happens.
hard. It's hard for especially play on defense. If you come off an AFC or not AFC ACL tear, it's
Yeah,
hard to come back from that.
yeah, it takes time. Look at Godwin, same thing. Last year,
Hmm.
play us, but I feel like this year he's going to shine under Liam Cohen's offense. Our new
Well, they
OC.
if they put him in a slot or position like he wants, he's going to get a lot more touches.
Agreed, absolutely. Your friend Marty Anthony Handy is in the comment section. He says, "What's up, fellas?
Mister
How you feeling?"
Anthony, Mister 28-3.
You had to go there, didn't you?
I had to go there. Even though I'm picking his Falcons to win the division, I got to go there until they show that they can actually. I mean, he has a quarterback now. First time he's had a quarterback since Matt Ryan. So we're
That's fair.
talking about 8 to 9 years since the last time he had a quarterback. So,
That's fair. I mean, Ritter was garbage, so
oh yeah, Mac
uh,
Schaub was garbage.
well, of course. Well, their head coach was garbage too, Arthur Smith, who's now a coordinator in Pittsburgh. So we'll see. Anthony Handy said they won't. He's referring to the Falcons. Come on, Anthony, be a little positive, man. Come on, be positive.
I mean, I got your team winning the division, so and I got Tampa making the wild card. So I'm trying to be nice to the Falcons.
Well, there you go. We appreciate that, Marty. Anthony says because they're the Falcons. Well, okay.
They're not
Well,
the Browns. They're not the Cleveland Browns. They're a little bit better. So
you think so? This Falcons team this year is going to be better than this Cleveland Browns team? You think?
I think so. I really do think so.
Okay.
But we
I
can
mean,
always count on the Cowboys choking in January.
well, that's true. Yeah. I'm just saying they have probably the best defensive player in football, Miles Garrett, for Cleveland. So I can't count them out. And
I don't know. I just can't trust Glenn Quagmire being their quarterback.
Yeah. Well, because he can't stay healthy. We may see Jameis Winston this year.
I think we will.
I think we will too. I think, and like I said, the ongoing joke we had when Jameis was with us was, he's the only quarterback in the NFL to give both teams a chance to win each and every week. So
Exactly.
I'm most excited about Jameis Winston.
Exactly. I mean, even when Deshaun Watson was on the field, he looked mediocre. I mean, he did not look like he was a top 15 quarterback. I mean, it's bad when Joe Flacco that comes off a couch and leads your team to the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. They have like 4 different quarterbacks and they still made the playoffs last
year? Yeah. 4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah. 5, I think. Yeah. Because the last game of the year, the Browns were already in. They just played a nobody and they got blown out. But who cares? They made the playoffs. Anthony Handy says the Browns are still recuperating from the DW Chronicles. Yeah. What about the CS Chronicles, Anthony? Remember that? I'm gonna try to get him to say it. I don't know if he wants to.
The team that's going to take a step back is going to be the Buffalo Bills.
You know what? I actually agree with you. I do. I think their Super Bowl window just closed.
I think it did too. Yeah. I will say the Houston Texans, I think it's going to be the Kansas City's Chiefs' main opponent this year. I think the Texans are coming for it this year.
Yeah, as long as they stay healthy and CJ doesn't have that sophomore slump. Now you got tape. But
and if he doesn't, you look at that offense of the Houston Texans, it looks like a Pro Bowl team.
Yes. I agree. They got Stephon Diggs, that's a big get. Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, you got weapons. And
Mixon, Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, Dalton Schultz.
Mm-hmm.
They got an offensive juggernaut.
It kind of looked like our offense when we won our Super Bowl in 2020. I mean, think about Fournette, you got Gronkowski, Evans, Godwin. I mean, that's Pro Bowl team right there.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I expect the Texans to do just as well. I think if Anthony Richardson stays healthy for the Colts, they could be a little bit of a threat. I don't know if they can win that division, but they look kind of good. I've given up on Jacksonville. I don't
believe in Jacksonville.
There's no turning back. I'm not a big believer in Trevor Lawrence. I think he's had his chances. This is a make or break year, I think, for Trevor. Personally.
Yeah. I feel like they overpaid for him.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, if you want to keep a franchise quarterback. But and in Tennessee, they're rebuilding. Will Levis, they shipped away. Well, they let Derrick Henry go to the Ravens, so they're going to rebuild. But they got, I think it was Houston. Was it Houston's coordinator that took the Titans job? I think.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so there's a lot of familiarity in that division.
Well, let me throw this at you. One team that didn't make the playoffs last year that could go from 0 to hero. What's the one team that you think can actually shock the world this upcoming season?
Minnesota.
Really?
Listen, I like J.J. McCarthy. I think this guy from Michigan, the quarterback they drafted, he's a leader. You didn't get to see a lot of the best of him because he had a great running game at Michigan. I think he's gonna surprise some people. You know, I think they could make the playoffs. I really do. Justin
I,
Jefferson has to stay healthy, but
oh
man,
yeah,
um,
I think mine's going to have to be Washington. They added a lot on defense.
yes, they did. And they got Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator from Dallas, so
Mm-hmm.
head coach. Another team I could see, maybe I'm a little crazy, but Arizona. If now you got Marvin Harrison Jr., you got a dynamic wide receiver for Kyler Murray to throw to. The Lions
And
got to be.
Arizona played everybody tough last year.
They did, you know. Trying to think any other team I could see going
Jets.
from.
I think that would be like an obvious. The Jets, just because they got Aaron Rodgers back.
Nah, we need to snap that other Achilles.
Okay.
Kidding.
How about
No, I don't wish
Pittsburgh?
as much. That I could see. Now listen, Russell Wilson's there now. Justin Fields came over there. I don't. They're going to say it's a competition, but remember when they said Baker and Kyle Trask was the competition, but it really wasn't. This is
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson's job to lose. That's kind of what I see here. With Pittsburgh. Russell's in a good place. He's going to go to he doesn't have to throw the ball 30, 40 times a game. Doesn't have to run for his life 20 times a game. He's going to have a better offensive line than he did in Denver. I'm kind of excited to see what Pittsburgh does. I think that's the team that could, make it to the postseason. So,
Yeah, I think that's a team that's going to ruffle some feathers if they get into the playoffs.
Right. Zagnif, thanks for tuning in. AR is a wild card. His health is definitely the detriment to a good versus bad season. I do agree with that, Anthony Richardson, because he had some flashes before he got his shoulder injured. So, like I said earlier on the show, just throw it away or slide. You don't have to bully your way through tackles and stuff.
The Bengals too. I mean, I think they might have been next to last or last in their division, but you got a healthy Joe Burrow now. The Bengals can make noise.
They were last in their division, but they were 9-8. So if they just had Joe Burrow, I think they would have been a playoff team for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Cole, SI has the Bears at 12-5. How? It's just prediction.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid of the Bears. I just can't right now. I got the Packers winning division and closely passed by the Lions, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Listen, Jordan Love, I was wrong about him. I'll be the first to admit it. I thought he was going to not be so good, but I mentioned earlier on the show, I think after we beat him, Marty, remember that game against Green Bay?
Mm-hmm.
They started sort of get on that roll a little bit. And remember, they beat Detroit on Thanksgiving in Detroit. That might have been what started. That started to get their confidence going a little bit. So, and they were injured earlier in the year. They had some players out. So once they got healthy and Jordan Love got acclimated to the NFL game, got some experience. My God, they took off, and it's going to be fun watching them against Detroit and Minnesota and Chicago. That division is going to be fun to watch this year, I think.
Oh yeah, it will be. I think our division's also going to be a little bit tougher. I think the Falcons are going to bring it to us, and I think the Saints are going to be slightly better. Carolina is in full blown chaos right now, but it's still going to be Falcons, Bucs, Saints.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good prediction. You're a little high on the Falcons. I'm not as high on them, but you might be right. The AFC West is interesting since I live here in Vegas. The Raiders, Gardner Minshew, him and Aiden O'Connell are having a quarterback competition, but I kind of got Gardner winning that job. You're not paying him like $15 million a year to ride the bench, especially early on. So,
If they want
It's
to
gonna be
keep their star wide receiver, they need to have Gardner Minshew as their starting quarterback.
and yes, they do. And we'll see how that plays out. They tried the Garoppolo experiment, that didn't work, that failed miserably. So just going to be another QB throwing the ball to Devontae. But I
Hmm.
will say their defense will be good. Christian Wilkins came from the Miami Dolphins. That's a good signing. Him and Max Crosby should be a very good duo in the front seven. So it's just their offense. We got to see because Josh Jacobs went to Green Bay. That's a good pickup for the Packers. And, so that kind of got to make you a little nervous if you're the Lions or the Bears or Vikings.
That's why I got Green Bay. I mean, now they got a legit running back. Not saying the one they had previously wasn't, but now you got a legit running back. You got Jordan Love is coming to his own zone right now. You still got the wide receivers young, that's starting to develop, and the defense hasn't been bad at all. So I mean, hell, look what they did to the Dallas Cowboys. Which I mean, it's the Dallas Cowboys, but still, they played the San Francisco 49ers tough and was beating their asses in the first half, and then I think it was the fourth quarter they just kind of collapsed. But hell, I mean, I, Green Bay's going to be a young team that the NFL's going, their teams are going to go through in the next couple of years. They're young, they're under rookie contracts, and they're developing, and that's a dangerous combination of a team that's going to be around for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. And Sean Spencer, thanks for tuning in tonight. What's up, Sean? How you doing on YouTube? It's good to see you again, man. They had a show, by the way. Truth be told, him and Nick Rosario threw out a video on YouTube earlier today. Good stuff. I do agree with you, Marty, on the Packers. They did lose Aaron Jones. He went to the Vikings, but I think they upgraded a little bit with Josh Jacobs, but he's got to stay healthy.
Oh yeah.
Jacobs, he's had some injuries early in his career, but I mean, Matt LaFleur finally has his quarterback. I know he had Aaron Rodgers, but to Matt LaFleur, he has his quarterback. And that's what you want as a head coach, your own quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, I agree with you on the Packers. And speaking of Sean Spencer, by the way, fellow Commander fan who got to face us week 1. That's going to be fun. You got your trotting out your rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, up
Yeah,
against.
I think his quarterback's going to be okay until about the second quarter.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it depends on their offensive line. Are they going to have a line that can actually block?
Well, it's not really the offensive line that I was referring to. He is a rookie quarterback going into this humidity heat that's like playing on the surface of the sun in Tampa week 1. It's going to be hot that day. I don't know if he's ready for it
He played at LSU
in a dome. No, he
No,
didn't play in a dome, did he?
no, he played in Baton Rouge at
That's
Death
right.
Valley. Yeah, no, he's so Louisiana. He's used to that humidity. So, um, he's from California as well, so they do get some humidity as well, and so he'll be used to it. I'm not worried about that. I just think it's can his offensive line block? I don't know. I mean, either we're gonna feast on some quarterback or we might get shut out. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out week 1, but I'm excited for that game. We're gonna have to
Plus,
do something.
our offensive coordinator, brand new offensive coordinator. We're still like learning, trying to click and get chemistry. So we're not going to be full strength at all week 1.
Maybe not, but again, it's only the first game. We'll see how it plays out. And I said earlier the creamsicles will be brought back October 27th against the Atlanta Falcons. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to show off our orange. That should
Heck
be good.
yeah, I got me a brand new creamsicle jersey. I got me a Mayfield creamsicle to go with my Mike Evans.
There you go. Look at that. That's a nice 1-2 punch right there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, everybody, we're gonna wrap this baby up, man. We've been on for an hour and a half. I want to thank Marty McKnight for coming on, fellow Bucks fan, giving us some great insight on the Bucks this year and other stuff around the NFL. We're getting close, Marty. We're getting this close to
Oh yeah, I
this
think we need
moment.
to get on probably pretty after the second, third preseason. We need to do like a preview show to get our predictions for
Yes.
the teams. I think we need to do that.
Now, I don't know what's going on with did you guys do that draft show last night? I wouldn't have been available anyway. I had stuff going on, but you guys,
We didn't really do a show because there was some personal stuff going on. But I'm hoping we'll get to do one where we can all do our preview or our predictions for the season.
right? Okay, cool. Yeah, and if for some reason we can't do that on NFL Edition, we can always do it right here on Have At It. You know, I got the platform. We can do that. We have you on, got anybody on, whether it's Alex, Johnny, Sean Spencer, anybody that wants to come on, we'll definitely do a preview show. I love doing this kind of stuff. Yeah, man, just want to talk about anything but what's been going on the past week.
Oh yeah. The shit that's been going around in the world. Let's just not talk about that.
Right. Yeah. No, I just want to chill, get some football in our lives, man. We just need that again.
It's almost here. Even college football is right around the corner.
That's right. You got Notre Dame, this good for nothing Fighting Irish. And you got
Yeah,
Florida
yeah,
State.
pretty much.
You got Arkansas. You know, we'll see.
Mediocre.
What's your coach's name? Sam Hartman.
Yeah, something of that nature. And then we got your Florida State that's basically non-existent in bowl games.
Whatever. We were stoked. By the way, how'd you guys do in your bowl game?
Notre Dame won. Arkansas didn't make one. So,
okay,
one out of two.
1 out of 2. That's not bad. That's pretty good.
No, you guys lost in y'all's, if I remember correctly. So,
oh yeah, we got motorboated by but we didn't play all our guys. I mean, still, when you lose 63-3, that's
good lord.
No, I'm not kidding. We lost 63-3 to Georgia. They just
Jesus.
I mean, this was like almost porn star style.
Close your eyes and turn back. And they asked Florida State to basically close their eyes, turn their back, and bend over. That's all it was.
No Vaseline.
Nope. They used straight up motor oil.
Yes, they did. Well, listen, Marty, man, it's fun having you on tonight, man. Appreciate it. Where else can we find you, man?
NFL Edition when we actually do a show.
Yeah, we're gonna have to drag Alex Loosemore out from the wilderness of Edmonton, Canada, and start doing more shows, man.
It'd be nice. I mean, getting close to football season. I'd like to do a few more shows.
All right, man. Marty, thanks for coming on, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thanks for letting you have me on. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap this one up, man. On Have At It. This is episode 62. Man, fun show tonight. I want to thank Marty McKnight again for coming on. Thanks for everybody watching on the show. Sean, Christopher, Zagniff, Fred Swayze Moore in the house, always with the positive predictions on the Bucks, going 20-0. So, with that being said, we're gonna wrap this one up, man. You can find me again on X at BennyBoy702. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's on my YouTube channel, Ben Cornett 9015, and on Facebook in the Ben Zone Facebook group. Or if you're a friend of mine personally on Facebook, you can watch me on my personal page as well. So, with that being said, we're going to take it easy. Everybody enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next time right here on Have At It. Have a good night, everybody.